Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When we talked about this before, back at our previous meeting, I told you I was going to put it, or move it forward to this meeting, the actual resolution in opposition of United Nations Agenda 21. You had an opportunity to look at the film, and I think you probably all had opportunities to do a little research on your own. I had a copy of the resolution added to the packet, so you had a chance to take a look at that. It's basically copied right off of Gaston County's resolution. And what I'd like to do, Mr. Chairman, is make a motion to adopt this resolution. And if there's any questions that you have of me, I'd certainly be happy to answer them or discuss them with you.
Okay, we have, in your packet, each commissioner should have gotten this resolution. We have a motion. Is there a second to that motion?
I have no problem seconding that motion.
Have a motion and a second. I will not be able to support the resolution, but at this time, other discussion.
What a surprise.
Just so I'm understanding this, and I've tried to do some research. I think you can get on the internet and you can find just about anything you want to find. I've talked with some citizens that were in the same boat as I was. They didn't have any idea what Agenda 21 was. And if I understand it, this was in 1992 in Rio with the United Nations, 178 countries involved. And that was, from what I can understand, this was a blueprint, particularly for some developing nations to possibly to have to go by. I looked for some things, what it was, and I've got a pretty good understanding on that. There were some things I found that I don't, that it ain't. And from what I can understand, it's not a treaty, or nor is it legally binding. I've looked and found some statements, pro and con, that it does not supersede the domestic laws of the United States and other sovereign nations. And so I did like I usually try to do with anything that's talked in this room, and I brought it back to locally. And one of the things that I saw on the film the other day was were some concerns about possible grants that may come from the federal government, state government, whatever. And I know that there are some grants that we've depended on in the past. One of them, the Rural Development Center. I don't know that they're affected by Agenda 21. We got a grant from them to help us with the septic system, I know, at Piney Creek, the Appalachian Regional Commission. And again, keeping it locally, Mr. Goudreau, I think, brought up something about the letter that, did we receive that from the Fish and Wildlife people or the Department of Interior? And it was something about bogs, and I had a member, an immediate member of my family that was involved in this. He was a willful landowner. Never once did eminent domain ever come forth. He had a good relationship with those folks, and he had a bog that I think they did a lot of research and so on and so forth. So I'll be honest, I'm not prepared tonight to sign this. I've got just as many questions as I had when I started out. I noticed that Mr. Smith sent some other information. I know it's not going away, but I'm not prepared tonight to sign.
Other discussion? We have a motion and it's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Fails 3-2. Item E on the agenda is a closed session under North Carolina